Hello everyone, this is FoxyPapaSmurf, or FPS Gamer for short, and today I'm bringing you another Halo 5 Forge map showcase. And a few of you may remember from a few weeks ago I recreated the classic Halo 2 map Terminal as a map I named Station 7, and I saw a huge return on that map. People seemed to really like it, so I decided to go back to the drawing board and pick another map from classic Halo that I thought would play really well with the Halo 5 mechanics, and I had to go all the way back to Halo 1 to find it. Longest is a map from Halo Combat Evolved that utilized the unique strategy of verticality that was introduced into the Halo franchise. Many games at the time didn't implement an element of verticality into their maps due to limitations on graphics cards and capabilities of the software, but it was popularized in its recreation in Halo 2 as Elongation. Elongation retained the verticality introduced into the original map, but also added an element of boxes that allowed players to easily navigate from the bottom floor up to the higher floors. This completely changed the gameplay for the better and allowed players to more easily navigate between the two levels. It was expanded from the original to support up to 4v4, and game types such as CTF and 3 plots were popular on this map. With its balanced layout, varying levels of interaction between the players, and emphasis on team communication, I found Elongation to be a perfect candidate to bring into Halo 5. This Halo 5 recreation was a decently complex endeavor, and I decided to name it Expansion, as kind of an homage to the original map and the recreation in Halo 2. And for reference, once again I went back into the archive footage that the multiplayer team created when designing this map.
This is a remake of Longest, one of the maps in Halo 1.
I thought about that I really hated about Longest that I wanted to fix. Ladders really destroy the realism.
I've never seen a ladder I like.
You have this vertical motion, but you don't see your hands doing that. But we got rid of all the ladders. Everybody hated ladders.
So it was apparent from the get-go in designing this map, the creators took a lot of creative liberties in making improvements to the map. By no means is any map perfect, and every iteration of a map should be better than the one before it. You have to take into account gameplay mechanics introduced into newer iterations of the game, as well as tactics that people start to use as the game's community develops and evolves. Despite this, I tried really hard to capture the setting of the map so that you still felt like you were playing on Elongation and seamlessly mix it into the Halo 5 canvas. Because this map is considerably smaller than my Terminal recreation, I was able to invest a lot more of the budget into the ambiance. I really wanted to sell this map as a recreation of the original, and it was hard to do that with my Terminal map because literally 80% of the pieces went to designing just the basic structure and geometry of the map. With my Elongation remake, it was only about half the pieces in my budget that went into creating the geometry, and another half that went to spawn points, weapons, cameras, boundaries, and most of all, aesthetics. Thankfully, there weren't any elements of this map that weren't possible. I was able to bring into the map all the elements that were in the original map, as well as throw in a few pieces of my own. The single important dynamic element on the map is this moving conveyor belt with boxes. I wanted to make sure I did this right, but there were a few changes that I had to make.
One of the interesting things that just kind of fell out of this design, and this is not intentional, if you were on the conveyor belt, even though you're moving faster than the motion sensor, if you're standing still, you don't show up. It has like this one thing that we've never had before, which is you can hide and actually end up in a different spot than you were, and the whole time you won't be on the motion sensor.
I wanted to incorporate this element of being able to crouch on the conveyor belt, but your native crouch walking speed is much faster in Halo 5, so I had to augment that in my map by increasing the speed of the conveyor belt. Other elements I had to change were the fire that was found in Red Team's corner. The fire now kills you in Halo 5, but I still wanted to keep it there. So what I did was elevate the platform and make it more of an intentional, controlled fire so I could still utilize the space underneath. Another major change I made was closing off part of the upper platform above each base. Players can still shoot out of it, but players attacking the base now have a harder time reaching the defending opponents. Because of the increased speed and ability to cover larger areas faster in Halo 5, I also added this additional wall so that players had to run the full length of the conveyor belt before entering into the enemy base. To further balance the map and also add an element of skill into reaching the upper platform, I added these half walls as well. Although not its own dedicated room, I added a small outcropping that allowed players to hide on either side of this bridge. The center platform itself has been heavily reconstructed, now more of a platform instead of just a walkthrough. You can house a stronghold here, a neutral flag, or just a power location for players that want to control the map from here. This center pipe helps break up the gameplay, but also leads into the outlying pipes that go above the entire map. And these pipes aren't just for aesthetic reasons. You can utilize these pipes to get from one location to another.
The really nice thing about this map is that there's total mobility.
It's a fairly simple map so that it's easy to navigate, easy to understand.
One of the ways that you can get to the second floor from the ground floor is to take advantage of these boxes that are moving around.
Gameplay-wise, they create a very huge change because they create this jumping path that you can get between the two levels on the map from any point.
I wanted to add something into the map that was unique, but also added player flexibility without decreasing those oh-so-important travel times between the two bases. So I created these pipes that players could use to get from one section of the map to the other without having to go down on the bottom floor. Another element I added was railing on part of an upper platform that leads into each base, restricting players' abilities to climb up. I also added a box that players can use as a jump up to reach those aforementioned pipes. Gameplay aside, some scenic changes I made were the addition of large asteroids that were floating around in space outside of the station. Although the parallax canvas is beautiful to look at, I wanted to add something unique and also even further sell the feeling that players had that they were in space. They were in this active space station with real elements floating around them. It just helps players feel all that more immersed. I made a few weapon changes as well, so I decided to move the shotgun out to a more exposed location where players had to leave their base every time they wanted the shotgun or they ran out of ammo. And I replaced that shotgun with a couple of splinter grenades. The magnums have now been removed and replaced with a bolt shot. As far as power weapons go, there are two on this map, the first being a Hydra that sits in front of the Red Team's base. And the Hydra is a relatively powerful weapon on this map, but players also have the ability to move out of the way of these shots by moving behind boxes or around walls. In a similar fashion, there is also a plasma caster that works largely the same way and can also be evaded by utilizing the thruster pack ability or the map's geometry. Well, thank you guys so much for taking a look. This was a very fun project. As I said, this is much more detailed than my terminal map. The terminal map was more testing my abilities as a forger. Now that I've really got an idea of what I'm doing and I know the extent of the possibilities in Forge, I wanted to do something that was challenging and also be able to express my creativity by investing more of the budget there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm also on Twitch on a regular basis at FoxyPapaSmurf. Likewise, I have a Facebook page, FoxyPapaSmurf Gamer. But thank you guys again for watching. Enjoy some gameplay on this map, give it a download, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Strongholds. I'm taking this point.
Picked up Hydra. Spotted in jungle.
First strike.
Taking fire. Blue out.
Shields up. Good to go.
Lost junction. Enemy team score. Lost the lead. Capture junction. Your team score. Defense. Gain the lead.
Enemy down. They're trying for junction.
Total control. Hostiles captured junction. Stronghold captured. Your team scoring.
Hostile fire.
Weapon pads ready. Your team scoring.
Rally. Fire. Red out.
Enemy team scoring. Your team scoring. Base defense.
Take cover. One shot. Stuck one. Taking fire at junction.
Under fire in blue alley.
Assassination. Base defense.
Last capture's good to go.
Total control. 20-point run. Nearing victory. Base defense.
Watch with grenade.
That alley has enemies. Stay! 10 seconds. Watch where you throw.
40-point run. Game over. Victory.